Lesson 1, Roadside Resolve.
Change the tire and continue our trip, adventure after adventure.
Did you ever imagine a flat would teach so much?
Roadside problems test patience and practical skill.
I learned to stay calm and follow systematic steps.
Which tool did you reach for first?
I retrieved the spare, jack, and lug wrench from the trunk.
Did you check the vehicle for a safe spot to work?
I moved us to the shoulder and switched on the hazard lights.
Did you engage the parking brake before you began?
I did, to prevent any unintended rolling while we worked.
How did you loosen the lug nuts initially?
I used steady force and crossed patterns to avoid stripping.
Did you lift the car only after partial loosening?
I did, to ensure stability while preventing wheel rotation.
Was the jack placed under the proper jacking point?
I located the reinforced jacking point near the wheel well.
Did you raise the vehicle only high enough to clear the tire?
I raised it cautiously to avoid overextension and instability.
How quickly did you remove the flat tire?
I removed it with firm, even motions to protect the studs.
Did you inspect the spare before mounting it?
I checked tire pressure and looked for visible damage.
Was mounting the spare straightforward or awkward?
Mounting required careful alignment and steady pressure.
Did you hand tighten the lug nuts first?
I hand tightened before lowering the car to seat the wheel.
Did you tighten the nuts in a star pattern afterward?
I tightened in a cross pattern to ensure even torque distribution.
Did you lower the vehicle slowly and recheck torque?
I lowered slowly and used the wrench to finalize tightening.
Did you secure the tools and store the flats safely?
I placed the tools in their compartment and wrapped the flat in a bag.
Did you document the location and time before resuming travel?
I noted the mile marker and the time for records and safety.
Did the incident change your appreciation for preparedness?
It highlighted the value of knowledge, tools, and composure.
Will you carry a full emergency kit moving forward?
I will include a puncture repair kit, reflective triangle, and gloves.
Did locals offer help while you worked on the roadside?
A passing motorist stopped and offered useful advice kindly.
Did you accept assistance or decline politely?
I accepted a second pair of hands when offered gratefully.
Did you use the moment to practice conversational English?
I did, asking questions and confirming terminology aloud.
Did explaining steps aid your language retention?
Verbalizing actions reinforced vocabulary and procedural verbs.
Was the spare sufficient for the remainder of the trip?
It carried us to the nearest service station for a professional repair.
Did you consider replacing the spare with a new tire immediately?
I compared costs and safety and chose a permanent replacement.
Did the unexpected pause alter your travel plans?
It shortened one day but added a memorable experience.
Did you meet other travelers while waiting at the garage?
I met a family who shared local route suggestions and snacks.
Did those encounters enrich the journey despite the delay?
They created new stories and friendly connections on the road.
Did you document the repair process for future reference?
I recorded notes and photos to guide future roadside actions.
Will you teach others how to change a tire now?
I plan to demonstrate step by step in a future video lesson.
Do you believe such practical lessons will attract viewers?
Practical, authentic content draws engagement and trust from audiences.
Could controversy arise from safety advice without professional certification?
It might, so clear disclaimers and encouragement to seek professional help are necessary.
Will you include safety warnings in any instructional content?
I will emphasize safety checks, local regulations, and when to call for assistance.
Can roadside incidents be turned into teachable, trending content?
With honest storytelling, useful tips, and respectful framing, they often resonate widely.
Did the experience change your confidence in solo travel?
It increased my confidence and underscored the value of preparation.
Will you assemble a checklist for future road trips?
I will list tools, contact numbers, and simple procedural reminders.
Should travelers practice tire changes before an emergency?
Practice in a safe environment builds competence and reduces panic.
Will you recommend practicing with a friend or mentor?
Practicing with an experienced person accelerates learning and safety.
Did you learn any unexpected cultural lessons from the roadside help?
I learned that kindness across cultures often appears in unexpected moments.
Will you integrate language practice into practical skills workshops?
Combining language and practical skills creates useful, memorable lessons.
Should hosts encourage viewers to prepare for common travel mishaps?
Preparation empowers travelers and reduces the negative impact of surprises.
Did the incident spark debate among your followers about risk and autonomy?
Some debated whether to teach hands-on repairs or always call professionals.
How did you mediate that controversy with your audience?
I provided balanced information, clear safety guidance, and invited expert commentary.
Will you invite an auto technician to review your method on camera?
Expert validation will increase credibility and reduce misinformation risks.
Did the roadside lesson become one of your most viewed uploads?
Viewership spiked due to the practical relevance and authentic narrative.
Will you keep producing content that blends adventure with instruction?
I will continue to combine real experiences with clear, formal explanations for learners.
Did changing the tire ultimately strengthen your trust in teamwork?
It reaffirmed that calm cooperation and clear roles solve immediate problems effectively.
I will plan future trips with greater preparation, document practical skills, and advocate respectful, safety first learning.
Lesson 2: Precise baking and kitchen debate.
What is the cooking time if it should be baked at 375 degrees?
The required time depends on the recipe and portion size.
Are you baking a single large dish or many small items?
Smaller portions often finish more quickly and require careful watching.
Does oven type influence the required baking time?
Convection ovens often cook faster due to circulating air.
Should I reduce time when using a convection setting?
Reduce time or lower temperature slightly to avoid overbaking.
Do differences in pan material affect heat transfer?
Dark metal pans absorb heat and can brown edges faster.
Would glass or ceramic require time adjustments?
Glass and ceramic retain heat and may need slightly longer cooking.
Should I preheat the oven fully before placing the dish inside?
Preheating ensures consistent temperature and even cooking.
Is it prudent to use an oven thermometer for accuracy?
An oven thermometer verifies true internal temperature and reduces guesswork.
How does altitude affect baking at 375 degrees?
Higher altitudes may require longer times and adjusted liquids or leavening.
Should I tent the dish with foil to prevent excess browning?
Tenting with foil protects surfaces while allowing the interior to finish.
When is it appropriate to rotate the pan during baking?
Rotate for even browning if your oven has hot spots or uneven heating.
How can I test doneness without relying solely on time?
Use a skewer, toothpick, or internal thermometer for accurate assessment.
What internal temperature indicates a safely baked savory dish?
Many savory dishes reach safety at around 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
What internal temperature signals that a cake is done?
Cakes are often done when a skewer comes out clean and springs back lightly.
Should I account for carryover cooking after removing the dish?
Resting allows internal temperature to rise slightly and juices to settle.
How long should a casserole rest before serving?
A short rest of 5 to 10 minutes improves texture and serving quality.
Does the presence of moisture in the recipe change baking time?
High moisture recipes often require longer baking to evaporate excess liquid.
Should dense batters be baked at a lower temperature for longer?
Lower temperatures prevent burnt exteriors and allow even interior cooking.
Is 375 degrees suitable for roasting vegetables?
It works well for tender roots, but higher heat can caramelize and crisp more.
Would searing before baking alter the required oven time?
Searing adds flavor and may reduce the time needed for final browning.
How does sugar content influence browning at 375 degrees?
Higher sugar content promotes quicker caramelization and darker crusts.
Should I monitor visually as the timer approaches 0?
Visual cues prevent overbaking and preserve intended texture and color.
Are convection and conventional bake settings interchangeable in recipes?
They are not identical. Conversions improve results and prevent surprises.
Will using multiple racks change cooking time?
Multiple racks can alter airflow. Consider spacing and possible rotation.
Should fragile baked goods be placed in the center of the oven?
Center placement ensures the most even heat exposure and gentle baking.
Can baking times published in recipes vary by brand and author?
Yes, authors test under specific conditions, so times may vary in practice.
Is it controversial to insist on a single definitive baking time?
Rigid insistence ignores variables. Experienced bakers adapt to conditions.
Might audience expectations for crispness versus softness create debate?
Preferences for texture often spark lively discussions among cooks and viewers.
Should safety always take precedence over ideal appearance?
Food safety is paramount and trumps aesthetic concerns every time.
Will using an instant read thermometer improve consistency?
Instant read thermometers provide quick, reliable verification of doneness.
Are visual signals like bubbling edges reliable for casseroles?
Bubbling and browned edges are good indications but should be confirmed internally.
Should I reduce sugar glaze temperatures to avoid burning?
Lower oven temperatures or later glaze application prevent scorching.
Can recipe scaling require proportional time changes?
Larger volumes often need extended time, while smaller batches finish sooner.
Do professional kitchens rely more on feel than timers?
Professionals combine timing with tactile and visual assessment for precision.
Is there a risk in removing a dish too early because of impatience?
Removing too early yields undercooked interiors and compromised safety.
Should I keep detailed notes of times and temperatures for future reference?
Note-taking creates a personalized recipe suited to your oven and preferences.
Will community feedback from viewers influence my preferred timings?
Viewer experiments can reveal useful adjustments across diverse equipment.
Could posting different timing approaches be trending content?
Comparative tests attract engagement and encourage audience participation.
Is it ethical to present one method as universally correct on camera?
Presenting options and explaining variables respects viewers and promotes trust.
Will dramatic slow motion shots of bubbling surfaces increase hype?
Cinematic presentation can increase appeal but should not mislead about results.
Should controversial claims about secret shortcuts be avoided?
Transparency about trade-offs prevents disappointment and builds credibility.
Will demonstrating thermometer use educate and reassure learners?
Demonstrations teach technique and reduce anxiety about timing.
Should I include alternative temperatures for delicate or dense items?
Offering alternatives empowers viewers to adapt recipes to their needs.
Will showing failed attempts and corrections be valuable content?
Honest failures teach resilience and practical troubleshooting skills.
Could viewers debate preference for crisp edges versus moist interiors?
Such debates are common and fuel engagement and community discussion.
Should I recommend resting times explicitly for each recipe?
Explicit resting instructions enhance texture and serving quality.
Will encouraging experiments with convection, fan, or bake settings be useful?
Encouraging experimentation builds confidence and technical understanding.
Should I caution viewers about oven door opening frequency?
Frequent door opening reduces oven temperature and prolongs cooking time.
Will a final tip on using timers and thermometers be appreciated?
Practical tools and clear advice help learners replicate consistent results.
I will recommend checking with an instant read thermometer and adjusting time according to pan size, oven type, and visual cues.
Lesson 3: Advising Innovation in Defense.
An advisor to a military leader must balance innovation with ethics.
He will help develop new machines for operational advantage.
What responsibilities accompany such an advisory role?
Responsibility includes ensuring compliance with international law.
Should the advisor consider the humanitarian impact of technology?
Humanitarian consequences must inform design and deployment decisions.
Will dual-use technologies complicate ethical evaluation?
Dual-use potential requires rigorous risk assessment and oversight.
Should transparency be part of the advisory process where feasible?
Transparency fosters public trust but may conflict with security needs.
How can one reconcile secrecy with democratic accountability?
Oversight bodies and classified briefings can balance security and accountability.
Is there a role for independent ethical review in military projects?
Independent review panels provide external perspectives and moral checks.
Will engineers and scientists require clear ethical guidance?
Clear guidelines help technical teams anticipate social implications.
Should legal counsel be involved from early stages?
Early legal input prevents violations and costly redesigns.
Does international humanitarian law restrict certain weapon types?
Law prohibits indiscriminate and inhumane means of warfare.
Should non-lethal alternatives be prioritized when possible?
Non-lethal options can achieve objectives while minimizing harm.
Will autonomous systems raise novel moral and legal questions?
Autonomy challenges accountability and decision-making in conflict.
Should humans retain meaningful control over lethal force?
Meaningful human control remains a widely endorsed safeguard.
Could machine learning introduce unpredictable behavior in weapons?
Unpredictability increases risk and demands cautious validation.
Should rigorous testing protocols be mandatory for new systems?
Extensive testing under realistic conditions reduces unforeseen failures.
Will adversaries rapidly adopt similar technologies?
Proliferation risk means strategic advantage may be short-lived.
Should interoperability with allied systems guide design choices?
Interoperability enhances coalition effectiveness and logistical support.
Will procurement transparency reduce corruption and misuse?
Transparent procurement and audits deter malfeasance and waste.
Should sustainability and lifecycle costs shape equipment choices?
Long-term maintenance and environmental impact affect operational readiness.
Can ethical design include minimizing civilian infrastructure damage?
Design that limits collateral effects protects civilians and preserves legitimacy.
Should privacy concerns be addressed when systems collect data?
Data governance and minimization protect non-combatant privacy and rights.
Will public perception influence political support for new machines?
Perception shapes policy. Negative views can curtail programs quickly.
Should advisors engage with civil society and experts outside the military?
Inclusive dialogue broadens insight and anticipates societal concerns.
Are moral dilemmas intensified when lives are at stake?
High stakes require heightened moral scrutiny and procedural safeguards.
Should training emphasize legal and ethical decision making for operators?
Training embeds norms and reduces the likelihood of unlawful actions.
Will clear rules of engagement integrate with automated capabilities?
Rules must be compatible with system behaviors and human oversight.
Could misuse occur under pressure or misinformation?
Stressful conditions increase risk of misuse without robust safeguards.
Should fail-safe and graceful degradation be built into systems?
Fail-safe mechanisms prevent catastrophic errors and enable recovery.
Will red teaming and adversarial testing reveal vulnerabilities?
Challenging systems with realistic threats exposes weaknesses early.
Should contingency plans address system compromise or capture?
Contingencies protect sensitive technologies and mitigate escalation.
Are export controls effective in limiting proliferation?
Controls help but require international cooperation and enforcement.
Should ethical frameworks adapt as technologies evolve?
Continuous revision ensures frameworks remain relevant and rigorous.
Will whistleblower protections encourage reporting of abuses?
Strong protections enable accountability and deter misconduct.
Should procurement favor suppliers with ethical commitments?
Supplier standards promote responsible development throughout the supply chain.
Could public debate on military innovation become polarizing?
Debates can be contentious but are necessary for democratic oversight.
Should advisors prepare clear, evidence-based justifications for projects?
Evidence and transparent reasoning strengthen policy legitimacy.
Will simulation and modeling support ethical impact projections?
Modeling helps forecast outcomes and informs better decisions.
Are there accepted metrics for measuring civilian harm risk?
Established frameworks estimate harm but require context-specific calibration.
Should international norms be pursued to limit destabilizing systems?
Shared norms reduce arms races and promote restraint among states.
Will engagement with allies align ethical standards regionally?
Coordination with partners harmonizes approaches and prevents loopholes.
Should investment in resilience and non-combat capabilities continue?
Resilience investments reduce vulnerability and complement hard power.
Can non-military research yield dual benefits for civilian society?
Many technologies spin off into civilian uses with broad benefits.
Should public communications emphasize safeguards and safeguards alone?
Communications must be honest, not merely reassuring, to maintain credibility.
Will cultural and institutional biases affect advisory judgments?
Awareness of bias is necessary to avoid flawed priorities and blind spots.
Should incentive structures reward ethical compliance in programs?
Incentives align behavior with moral and legal obligations effectively.
Will iterative review adapt programs to emerging evidence and norms?
Iteration allows correction and continuous ethical alignment.
Should career assessments include ethical performance metrics?
Ethical metrics reinforce institutional values and long-term integrity.
Will collaboration with international law experts strengthen policy?
Legal expertise ensures compliance and helps craft robust norms.
Could controversial projects damage international reputation if mishandled?
Mishandling may erode credibility and invite sanctions or backlash.
Should advisors document decision rationales for future accountability?
Documentation preserves transparency and aids retrospective evaluation.
Will independent audits be useful for long-term program oversight?
Audits provide impartial assessment and enhance public trust.
Should investment in human capital match technological ambition?
Skilled personnel are essential to operate, maintain, and govern systems responsibly.
Will ethical lapses in development have strategic consequences?
Ethical failures can undermine missions and strategic objectives profoundly.
Should education in ethics and law be mandatory for technologists?
Mandatory education fosters responsible innovation and informed choices.
Will controversy around certain machines spur international dialogue?
Controversy can catalyze treaties and cooperative governance if channeled constructively.
Should advisors prioritize de-escalation capabilities and defensive uses?
Prioritizing defensive and de-escalatory functions reduces escalation risks.
Will rigorous public debate help set legitimate boundaries for military technology?
Open debate defines acceptable limits and enhances democratic control.
Should the advisor recommend a phased, carefully monitored rollout?
Phased deployment with monitoring allows evaluation and course correction.
Will the leader take responsibility for both innovation and its consequences?
Leadership must accept accountability for decisions and their moral outcomes.
I will advise prudence, insist on legal and ethical safeguards, and support responsible technological progress.
Lesson 4: The Taxi Departure Dialogue.
Excellent, now let us grab our bags and head out to catch the taxi.
Are you confident the driver will find us easily?
I will confirm the pickup location and share precise coordinates.
Will you also check the taxi license and identification?
Verifying credentials reduces the risk of counterfeit services.
Should we confirm the estimated fare before entering?
Confirming the fare prevents misunderstandings and surprises.
Will you ask whether the driver accepts cards or only cash?
Knowing payment options helps avoid last-minute problems.
Should we ensure that the meter is running after departure?
A running meter provides a transparent record of the journey.
Will you note the taxi company and vehicle number for safety?
Recording those details improves accountability if issues arise.
Should we compare ride-hailing apps for price and reliability?
Comparing options often yields the best balance of cost and trust.
Will you set the exact destination to avoid detours?
Clear directions prevent unnecessary detours and time loss.
Should we share our live location with a trusted contact?
Sharing our route increases safety and peace of mind.
Will you request a quiet ride or allow conversation with the driver?
We should ask politely about the driver's preference for conversation.
Should we avoid discussing sensitive personal topics aloud?
Avoiding personal details preserves privacy and reduces risk.
Will you confirm child or booster seat availability if needed?
Safety seats must be checked in advance for families traveling with children.
Should we ensure that luggage is secured in the trunk?
Secured luggage prevents loss and protects belongings during transit.
Will you tip according to local customs and fairness?
Tipping should reflect service quality and local norms respectfully.
Should we request a receipt for corporate or reimbursement purposes?
A receipt documents the expense and supports later accounting.
Will you plan alternate routes in case of heavy traffic?
Alternate routes save time and reduce stress when congestion occurs.
Should we be mindful of rush hour and special event traffic?
Awareness of local schedules helps avoid peak delays and surprises.
Will you verify the estimated arrival time and buffer for delays?
Estimating arrival with buffer time avoids missed appointments.
Should we remain vigilant for suspicious activity near pickup points?
Vigilance in public spaces minimizes vulnerability and preserves safety.
Will you ask the driver to confirm the route before starting?
Route confirmation fosters shared expectations and reduces errors.
Should we avoid displaying valuables when boarding?
Concealing valuables reduces temptation and the risk of theft.
Will you observe driver behavior for signs of impairment?
Noticing impairment early allows us to decline travel for safety.
Should we politely refuse to travel if the driver seems unsafe?
Declining a ride under unsafe conditions is prudent and justified.
Will you ask for a stop if we need to adjust luggage or prepare payment?
Requesting a brief stop avoids fumbling and awkwardness in transit.
Should we keep easy access to identification and tickets?
Accessible documents speed verification and reduce stress at checkpoints.
Will you confirm the best drop-off point near our final destination?
A precise drop-off location improves convenience and timing.
Should we note any local taxi regulations that might differ from home?
Understanding local rules prevents accidental infractions and fines.
Will you check for multilingual support or translation features in apps?
Translation tools make communication smoother in unfamiliar regions.
Should we record short notes about the driver if the ride is exceptional or poor?
Recording feedback helps improve service quality and protects future travelers.
Will you consider sharing useful safety tips with other travelers online?
Sharing responsible advice fosters community awareness and readiness.
Should we plan for tip and payment in both local currency and card backup?
Dual payment readiness solves unexpected cash or card issues conveniently.
Will you respect driver preferences regarding stops and detours?
Respectful negotiation balances our needs with driver time and routes.
Should we avoid confrontations and instead report problems to authorities or platforms?
Reporting formal issues preserves safety and documents incidents correctly.
Will you check for in-vehicle cleanliness and maintenance before starting?
Clean, well-maintained vehicles indicate professional standards and safety.
Should we keep a polite tone even when negotiating fares or service issues?
Politeness increases the chance of cooperative resolution and reduces conflict.
Will you confirm final charges before leaving the vehicle?
Final confirmation prevents disputes and ensures satisfactory closure.
Should we acknowledge excellent service with a positive review when deserved?
Positive reviews reward good drivers and guide other passengers toward quality service.
Will we stay aware of local taxi scam patterns and common warnings?
Awareness of local scams reduces likelihood of falling victim to fraud.
Should we accept assistance with bags only from the driver if we trust them?
Accepting help should be based on observed professionalism and comfort level.
Will you prepare to exit promptly and safely when we reach our stop?
Prompt, careful exits prevent accidental loss and ensure smooth transitions.
Should we carry a small emergency kit for unexpected delays during transit?
A compact kit supports comfort and resolves minor inconveniences while traveling.
Will we exchange polite greetings and farewells with the driver?
Courteous interaction fosters goodwill and sets a positive tone for the ride.
Should we remain flexible if minor route adjustments improve efficiency?
Flexibility can reduce time and stress when changes are reasonable.
Will we confirm pickup details for our return journey in advance?
Pre-arranging return transport reduces uncertainty and last-minute rush.
Should we document any lost items immediately with the taxi company?
Immediate reporting increases the chance of recovering lost belongings.
Will we respect local cultural norms about personal space and conversation with drivers?
Respecting norms avoids awkwardness and fosters mutual respect.
Should we also consider rideshare pooling only if it does not compromise safety?
Pooling can be economical but must not sacrifice privacy or safety.
Will we schedule extra time when traveling during festivals or public holidays?
Festival travel requires larger time buffers and logistical planning.
Should we encourage others to plan taxi pickups with safety in mind?
Promoting mindful planning enhances collective traveler security and experience.
Will we keep calm and courteous should minor issues arise during the ride?
Calmness enables clear problem solving and preserves respectful interaction.
Should we debrief briefly after arrival to note any follow-up tasks?
A short debrief captures any necessary actions such as receipts or feedback.
Will we celebrate a smooth ride when everything proceeds well?
Acknowledging smooth travel fosters gratitude and appreciation for the journey.